Hi, this is my revisions and rationale for my unit assessment and how I'm going to revise that. The unit that I chose to do was over organisms, and I did a unit that was more of, is it an organism or is it an object? So what I did was I created a slide deck to teach the students what organisms were. Before I presented that to them, I did a class discussion where I asked several questions and they had to tell me what an organism was, and we made sure that we knew what it was and what it was made up of. Then once they finished the discussion, we did the slides and I presented a lecture for them over what an organism is. Then they had time to research what makes up an organism, examples of organisms, and they did have to find those. And then they had to create a presentation about what an organism was and show many examples of it from their research and cite the correct sources. And then we did an assessment where they had to observe 5 different objects and write down on their assessment sheet whether or not it was an organism or an object. So the first question is, do the tasks yield appropriate evidence of the identified understandings? I do think that there was plenty of discussion to where I could see if the students understood what I was trying to present to them. There was also a lot of understandings about the assessments, and with the assessments, I thought that it was appropriate, and I was able to see if they got whether it was an organism or an object. With the presentations, I was also able to see if they had a good understanding of the topic and if they really understood what I was trying to teach them. So question 2 is, do the tasks involve a complex real-world authentic application of the identified knowledge, skill, and understanding? I think that it did provide a good presentation of real-world applications because they can use this information in their real life as far as what's an organism, what's an object. They see frogs at home, they see baseballs at home, they see plants at home, and now they're going to be able to recognize that. I wish that I would have had them bring in something from their house, whether it was an organism like a plant or whether it was an object, and use that as, I brought in so and so and it is an organism or it is an object. So that way they are identifying what exactly it is at their homes that are organisms or objects. So the third question was, are a variety of appropriate assessment formats used to provide additional evidence of learning? I did do the assessment at the end where they had to write down whether the 5 objects were organisms or objects, and they did have to do the presentation showing their understanding of the topic. However, I wish I would have done a pre and post assessment with some more of the learning goals, so that way I could see how their knowledge has changed throughout the lesson, and if I were to teach it again, I would definitely do that. So my fourth question is, are students given the opportunity to self-assess and reflect upon their learning and performance? The students did not have the opportunity to do that other than through their presentations, but I would go back through and I would add that piece where in their presentations they have to provide a reflection of what they would like to change throughout the lectures and presentations and what they wouldn't want to change and what they feel like worked and didn't. So I do plan on adding that into my lesson plans in the future. And then here are my references that I have for my ISTE standards. I really appreciate this assignment and I really enjoyed creating a unit, and it's really going to help me in the future whenever I'm a teacher. Thank you guys.